Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, I don't need to remind you that the Detroit Lions are one of the most exciting teams in the NFL right now. After years of struggle, of being overlooked, of fans waiting for that breakthrough moment, the Lions are finally gathering momentum. And this offseason, as we look ahead to the 2024 season, there's a lot of buzz, a lot of chatter, and a lot of hope that this could be their year to truly contend for the NFC crown, for a shot at the Super Bowl. But as with any team aiming high, the key lies in the details. Those little moves, those strategic decisions that can elevate a team from good to great. And right now, one of the most talked about stories in Detroit circles revolves around a player who, last season, was instrumental before suffering a serious setback, Aiden Hutchinson. Hutchinson, the young pass rusher from Michigan, who was drafted with high expectations, was on a trajectory to become one of the league's premier defensive players. In his first year, he made an immediate impact, racking up 5 sacks, forcing fumbles, and showing the kind of relentless motor that Lions fans have fallen in love with. But in October, everything changed. Hutchinson sustained an injury that ended his season prematurely, a blow that could have derailed the Lions' defensive ambitions. But Detroit's front office and coaching staff refused to let that setback define their season or their future plans. Instead, they found a way to adapt, to plug the gaps, and to keep their defensive integrity intact. And that's where a veteran like Za'Darius Smith comes into the picture. The Lions, at the trade deadline last year, made a savvy move by acquiring Smith, a player with a proven track record of rushing the passer, of creating chaos in backfields across the league. Smith's arrival was a breath of fresh air for Detroit, especially considering Hutchinson's injury. Smith, with his experience and relentless edge rushing skills, helped fill the void and kept the Lions' pass rush relatively potent. He registered 4 sacks in those crucial final games, showing that he still has a lot to offer. But here's where things get even more interesting. The Lions parted ways with Smith in the offseason, a cap-cutting move, as many teams have to do to manage their salary caps and roster flexibility. Still, behind the scenes, the team has remained in contact with Za'Darius. And this is not just speculation, it's coming from insiders close to the organization. According to Mike Payton from Auto Z Sports, the Lions are still talking to Smith, and the ball is pretty much in his court. Smith has expressed publicly and privately that he wants to return to Detroit, that he's happy there, and that he sees a good fit. That's a powerful statement from a veteran player who's been around the league and knows what it takes to compete at a high level. Now, for those of you who follow the NFL closely, you know that free agency can be unpredictable. Players sometimes take longer to sign, or they wait for the right opportunity. But in Smith's case, it seems like the Lions are his top choice. As Payton reports, the last official conversation between GM Brad Holmes and Smith's agent happened just before the NFL league meetings in early April. Since then, the Lions have essentially left the door open, waiting for Smith to make a decision. And at the Bet Awards in early June, Smith himself told USA Today that he wants to be back in Detroit. That's a clear indication that the player is serious about rejoining the Lions, and it's a message that the team is definitely considering. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So why is this so important? Well, because Smith's potential return could be a game changer for Detroit. Hutchinson, as I mentioned earlier, was on pace for an All-Pro season before his injury, and the Lions' pass rush was looking formidable. But with Hutchinson sidelined, Detroit's defense struggled to generate consistent pressure on quarterbacks, especially in critical moments. They faced tough competition in the NFC North, teams like the Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, and Chicago Bears, all of whom are investing heavily in their passing games. Having a veteran like Za'Darius Smith back in the fold could be the difference maker in getting that elusive edge rush, in pressuring quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins, Jordan Love, and Justin Fields. And let's not forget that the Lions are still building their team for sustained success. They've been strategic in their draft picks, like taking Boise State's Ahmed Hassanin in the 2024 draft, a promising young edge rusher who has potential but is still developing. However, relying solely on rookies to anchor such an important position as outside linebacker or edge rusher can be risky. That's why bringing back a seasoned veteran like Smith makes so much sense. His leadership, his pass rushing skills, and his ability to step into high-pressure situations could be exactly what Detroit needs to push their defense to the next level. Looking at the bigger picture, the Lions are determined to rebound from a disappointing playoff exit last season. Remember, they entered the postseason riding high after a strong regular season, but they crashed out in their first playoff appearance in years, losing to the Washington Commanders in a game that exposed some vulnerabilities. That game was a wake-up call. They couldn't get to the quarterback, couldn't stop the run, and the defense looked out of sync. The absence of Hutchinson was a big part of that struggle, but it also underlined how much the Lions need to bolster that front line, especially on the edges. Now, with the NFC North becoming more competitive each year, Detroit can't afford to be complacent. The Vikings are always formidable with their offensive weapons and Kirk Cousins' experience, while the Packers are still trying to find their rhythm after moving on from Aaron Rodgers. The Bears, on the other hand, are investing heavily in their young quarterback Justin Fields and their defensive front. So for Detroit, this upcoming season is about establishing dominance, about asserting themselves as division leaders, and about making a statement that they are here to stay at the top. And a big part of that strategy involves boosting their pass rush. We know that in the NFL, the team that can consistently pressure the quarterback, force turnovers, and disrupt offensive rhythms usually wins. And for Detroit, re-signing Za'Darius Smith would send a clear message that they're serious about contending now, not just in the future. Smith's experience, combined with Hutchinson's raw talent, could form one of the league's most formidable outside linebacker duos. And with the Lions having only drafted one edge rusher in 2024, it's evident that their focus remains on adding veteran stability to that position. It's also worth mentioning that Smith's presence in Detroit has a lot of intangibles: leadership, veteran knowledge, and a competitive edge that can elevate the entire defense. Young players like Josh Paschal and James Houston could learn a lot from him, and his attitude and work ethic could set the tone in the locker room. Plus, the Lions coaching staff under Dan Campbell and defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn has shown a knack for maximizing their talent, and bringing Smith back could be a strategic move that pays off big time. Now, as we inch closer to the start of training camp later this month, everything seems to be aligning for a potential reunion. The Lions are known for their patient, methodical approach, often waiting until the right moment to make key signings. And with Smith's clear desire to return, the team's cap situation allowing some flexibility, and the mutual interest, it appears that a deal could be imminent. If that happens, Detroit's defense, which already showed promise last year, could become even more dangerous, especially in the pass-rushing department. Of course, nothing is set in stone yet. Smith could still decide to explore other options, or Detroit could come to a different conclusion. But all signs point toward a possible reunion that could significantly boost the Lions' chances of not only winning the NFC North again, but also making a deep playoff run, perhaps even pushing for that elusive Super Bowl appearance. The narrative is shaping up to be one of resilience, strategic moves, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. And let's not forget the broader context. The Lions are a team on the rise, with a core of talented young players, a coaching staff that's proven they can develop talent, and a fan base that's more passionate than ever. The energy around Detroit is palpable, and every move they make in this offseason has the potential to tip the scales in their favor. Re-signing Za'Darius Smith isn't just about filling a roster spot. It's about sending a message to the league, to their division rivals, and most importantly, to their fans that Detroit is serious about competing at the highest level. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential re-signing? Do you believe that Za'Darius Smith is the missing piece to get Detroit over the hump? Are you excited about Hutchinson's return and what that might mean for the defense? How do you see the NFC North shaping up this season? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Detroit Lions. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news. This team is on the rise, and every piece of the puzzle counts. Thanks for being here, Lions fans, and let's keep the passion alive as we look forward to what promises to be an electrifying season ahead.